Welcome to Charmed Life, a radio show discussing spirituality, magic, and the unconditional love of the universe. Thanks for tuning in. And I am your host, Tricia Carr. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited about today's show. I know people who do like talk shows and stuff always say that, but I'm super excited. And when I've said that, Jarvis, it's always been right? And it usually has a lot to do with Jarvis and me, like jibing and like channeling together. And y'all have no idea what Jarvis is doing over here. There's like Jarvis is also tapping in days before the show, because when we go off air, then he's like, I can't believe that. I thought that yesterday, and I said this yesterday, and I had the same experience. So big thanks to Jarvis, our producer, Jarvis Essex. And we're broadcasting live from the Universal Broadcasting Network studios in Hollywood, California, in the beautiful Sunset Gower's building. You know, this building is pretty cool. It's kind of an older Hollywood building right here in the middle of Hollywood, you know, kind of down the street from Jimmy Kimmel and all that kind of stuff. And, well, every time I bring in a psychic to go in studio with me, they're always like, ooh, oh, there's all kinds of energy here. There's ghosts and all that kind of stuff. It must just attract it because of the woes and the trials and tribulations of Hollywood. I just feel the light. That's all I'm endeavoring to feel. So I would love to tell you guys about a few things that I have going on. I am offering a few mentoring courses, and I'm super excited about them. I have just officially put on my website a way for you to go and make an appointment with me to have a discovery call to see if you would be interested in doing one of the programs with me called Successful Spiritual Entrepreneurs. So this is for people who are in the spiritual and wellness space as professionals. So if you're a psychic, medium, Reiki healer, anything like that. This is to help you to scale up or start. If you've already been practicing your gifts, but you're kind of not starting your business and you just need to scale up your up level, I would say, your activity as a professional. Really immersive mentoring. I'm really excited about it. And I would love for anyone to reach out if that sounds like you. Please reach out. We do a phone call, complimentary first, just to see how we line up there and to see where you are. And in that phone call, you're going to have a breakthrough no matter what. And we're going to get to know each other. And then I also have two more. One is to become a healthy empath and highly sensitive person. Same deal, very immersive course. And then the third one, the third one I'm talking about right now is developing your intuitive abilities. So if you're somewhere along the line there where you know you have abilities and you just want to open them up more and understand them, really take your spiritual feelings into specific skills. Or if you have some feelings but you want to be able to rely on them better, you know, you've had some psychic or intuitive kinds of events, or just if you want to develop a new one, you really want to hone in. So, whatever those intuitive abilities you think they might be, or you're just not sure, that would be the mentoring program for you. Really excited about it. Can't wait to get more involved with all of you beautiful people in all of those different ways. And so today's show is about transformation. So I worked with just, yesterday. The whole week always kind of culminates whatever is going to be discussed. And so a few days ago in my Facebook group, which, by the way, if you are interested in any of the things that I talk about or any of the mentoring programs, because I focus on a lot of those tips that actually go into the mentoring programs, you want to find my Facebook group so that you can find that by going facebook.com/groups/charmedlifelove. And so in my Facebook group, we talked about the other day why your empathic abilities or your empathic feelings, your empathic nature, is kicking your ass. And Jarvis probably can attest to his ass get kicked sometime because he's a very, very sensitive empath. And so we talked about that, and it was really great. And so I thought that was going to be the actual topic of the show, but it's really just folded in. So stick around if you want to understand and really just look at, oh my gosh, I am so sensitive, and I feel like it's just a burden. We're gonna feel into that a little bit today. But really what this topic is about transformation by working with Archangel Uriel. So just to set the stage a little bit, Archangel, there are several archangels, many. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's endless, infinite archangels. The archangels are the first expression of source energy. So there was the singularity, just the whole universe, just creator, the creative source, primal energy, God. There was just one. In highest truth, there still always just is one. But in order to better know one's self, a singularity was created. I mean, we even see this in the theory of the Big Bang Theory. Oh, that was kind of redundant. We see this in the theory of the Big Bang, and that just basically there was nothing, or there was everything, and then there was a big bang between matter and antimatter, something like that. I'm not a scientist. Shocking, I know. But I remember from school that it had to do with matter and antimatter colliding. That's the best that they could kind of theorize about it, because, we're talking about the absolute beginning, that tiny little nugget, the infinitesimal beginning. So the point of of us experiencing duality as opposed to singularity is really so that we can experience contrast and therefore a more dynamic understanding of what the one is, of what singularity is. So the simplest way to think about this is how it's summertime, super hot outside, 90, 100 degrees, you're out there for a bit, and then you go into an air-conditioned room and you're like, oh, it feels wonderful. If you had come in from the snow into an air-conditioned room, it would not have felt like, that's what I mean by contrast. So I'm going to use the word contrast in today's discussion so you understand what I mean. Contrast is a more neutral way to think about the things in our lives that we are moving forward, rather than saying negativity, because I actually want to frame this in a way that is easy and we can be objective about how we create transformation from contrast rather than negativity or toxic energy or blocks. All those words, sometimes they're helpful. Sure, everything is helpful sometimes, but I want to be pulled out a little bit into a more neutral position, because that is often where we make the biggest strides and we bring in the best understanding, because we aren't being emotionally attached and emotionally enmeshed in the specifics. We want to zoom out and just feel into it. And it is 11:11 party. Hey, yeah. Oh, I don't know about those lyrics. All right. So, the archangels are understood to be the first creation or expression of source energy. There was the singularity, and then the first expression of duality are the archangels. I learned this, by the way, from Crystalline Compton, but I also talked to Bashar, who is the ET, who is channeled by Daryl Anka. I spoke about that workshop that I went to several weeks ago. But Crystalline Compton is a spiritual teacher, and she's amazing, friend of mine, and I work with her in the Lightworkers Lab, which is a spiritual community she created, and I'm a teacher and moderator in it. You can find that. If you are a spiritual seeker, you can find the Lightworkers Lab on Facebook. Facebook.com/group/Lightworkers Lab, I think. But, just search for Lightworkers Lab and you can request to join. And we do all kinds of live teachings in there. So Crystalline Compton was the first person who I heard this explanation about the universal architecture, that the archangels are the first expression of source energy, the first kind of duality. And then after that, we have like other classes of angels, and then the oversouls, which would be our higher self or our souls. So we are directly related to the archangels as we are directly related to source energy, and of course, other angels. And basically, I wanted to explain that to you because I want you to know that you can partner with, you can sit with, and be counseled by an archangel or the archangels. We all have like a primary archangel, because our oversoul was created from that lineage. So, for example, my archangel was basically like your grand guardian angel, because the guardian angels that you do have They really are basically expressions of the archangel, which, of course, is an expression of source energy. The lineage is interesting, but I want you to feel that so you understand how you are directly connected to the all and to that high infinite intelligence and creative source. And I'm getting that I should tell you, because maybe some of you aren't very experienced in just understanding or putting your awareness on angels. And it doesn't matter what you call the word angel. It's just, that's what we have in our vernacular. This isn't a religious thing, although if you can look into major religions and you see the reference to beings of light. So basically an angel is a high order light being. High order meaning it's high in the order of the lineage that's close to source energy. So maybe, you can call them, Thomases if you want. Angel is the word that we use in English that just references. It's like the benchmark. Words are just signposts. So the word angel has nothing to do with any of the religious, dogmatic kind of references to them. But I think that the religion, the dogma, has actually been interpreting true experiences. So Archangel Gabriel that you hear of in the Bible, I think that is someone's true experience, someone's true interpretation. And maybe it's been a reinterpretation, so it's kind of hard to understand whatever that writing initially was. But here's the deal. You are incredibly loved, supported, and directly related to, with mind, body, spirit, understanding with your archangels. Again, just like you are with source energy. But it's helpful to be able to connect with a particular personality or definition of a being. You know what I mean? Like, rather than trying to connect to the abyss, it can be very helpful to connect with a particular being that we have given a name and we understand how we work with them. So, to that point, an angel that many people don't necessarily, it's not as commonly known, is one by the name of Uriel. Archangel Uriel, and it's Uriel. The El part, a lot of angels have El at the end of their name because that means of God. So I want to tell you a little bit about Uriel because I have never actually really connected with Uriel until just yesterday. I was going into meditation with this. I'm going to show it to you. I have a new crystal that I've actually been charging for a while now. And what I mean by charging is I had it in my home near a windowsill in indirect sunlight, just getting charged up. I actually forgot about it and then was reminded of it, that it's ready. So that was kind of cool. So if you're watching the video in archive or if you're watching it live, let me show you this guy if I can get him out of his cage. And if you're listening to the podcast, just know it's beautiful, okay? And so I'm holding it up kind of close to the camera. Let me turn my hand. So it's called a Herkimer diamond. It's a quartz crystal. It's not actually a diamond in the sense of like my wedding ring, my wedding band has diamonds in it. It's called a diamond because it's really brilliant and clear, and but it's super high vibrational. It's really clear and prismatic at the same time. And this one in particular has some carbon deposits in it, which I think is really cool. So it looks like a little bit of charcoal kind of in these little areas. The place that they're most commonly found is I think it's Herkimer County in New York. So that's why they're named that way. So I went to work with this crystal yesterday and I worked with it through my whole body and spirit. And then it was bringing in Archangel Uriel energy somehow, or just however I allowed my attunement to occur in partnership with this crystal, then I was open to connecting with Archangel Uriel. And that was, like I say, a surprise. I wasn't necessarily consciously beckoning, but you can beckon and you can ask for a connection with a particular archangel. So let me tell you a little bit about Uriel, is that Uriel is good to call on when you really need an answer to something. Like when there's a problem and you really need a solution, you need a higher solution. That's one of the things that Archangel Uriel can help you with. And also, Uriel is good at helping us with when you really need a breakthrough. And that's what happened for me. And the message that I got from Uriel yesterday was about transformation. And so and, those are just a couple of little tips about what Uriel helps us with. But these beings are compared to, they're infinite. And so if you just had a relationship with one, you can, let them be the source of all kinds of answers and help. Does that make sense? Excuse me while I adjust my microphone. Oh, I should let you know that we are taking calls, 323-524-2599. And call in if you have a question about any of the things that I'm discussing, or if you want to have a little reading. And it looks like we do. We just opened the lines, and I have a caller. So let's go ahead and do that. Hi there. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hello?
Yeah. Hi. Who's this?
Darius. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, Darius?
Very well. I'm enjoying the topic thus far. It's definitely resonating with me where I am in my spirituality, because I've recently started to call upon Archangel Uriel.
You did?
And I want to go deeper into this.
Amazing.
Yes, I want to go deeper into all of this.
Okay.
Spiritual, whenever I'm giving my readings, I give answers and they're accurate, yeah. But I want to when I first started being spiritual, I got a reading and I felt like, wow, my life was invigorated. I want to be able to give that same feel to someone else. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm not quite there just yet. Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there anything you can help me with? I can go deeper into my gifts.
Oh my goodness, that is exactly. You must have been talking to Uriel, because I'm going to read to you what I have down on my notes to share. So what I'm talking about today, that Uriel is helping us to see how the contrast is actually a doorway into transformation. But what you're talking about was actually the second part, which is how do I create now, not just transform, that which is a kind of a different method, but then intentionally create. And so this is something, let me share this with you, because I received this kind of little map. In particular, you can use it for anything, but it really helps when you are healing or reading or doing something, with someone else. So here it is. This is the magic. You set an intention. And intention is very fragile, very passive, but it's actually our most powerful method of doing anything. But it's passive, so we have to really get deep into our space and make deep contact with ourself, which is really the God essence with Creator. So we set an intention, and then we stand in the gap, meaning where your client is and where they want to be, or the information they need, or the help or energy. And it's really not actually about information, it's about energy. So then they need something, and then they want something. So they're here, and then they need and want something. So if you were watching the video, you'd see that I have my hands representing one spot, point A and point B. You stand in between point A and point B. You stand in the gap.
Okay.
And you just wait. And that's what you do. You just wait. And then the energy, which you translate, or the vibration, you translate it into words and whatever, you translate it into maybe energy healing, whatever is needed. You will be the translator by standing in that gap, and then together you both move closer to what that point B is, together you and your client. So you do that. You stand in the gap and you just allow. And you trust that the universal energies, like guides, like source energy, angels, that they're actually working to create it with you and through you. You just allow, and you believe that it's happening. And then when you just know that when you are used as that conduit, when you're standing in that and you translate and you allow and you give the message or whatever it is to the other person, then you know, because it was crafted by all of creation, by all of the universal energies, then you just know that that is perfect love, and you were in love, and you made decisions for love, for them, with them, for yourself too, and you gave it. And now you just allow, and you allow them to have it. And so it will happen. Whatever they need will happen, and you have to just trust, because when we then feel like we need to have confirmation that their life was transformed, then we're actually not being unconditional. Does that make sense? We're saying,
it does, yes.
Yeah. So it makes that place where we're standing in the gap and allowing. We're no longer allowing. We've come out of allowance. We've become conditional. And when we become conditional, then we're no longer connected to unconditional love, which is source energy. So then we stay unconditional.
Makes sense.
And you'd probably know this, Darius. You've probably had tons of readings, and then interesting things come to pass from those readings down the line. And you don't call that reader
Yes.
and say, hey, guess what? My life was actually changed a month later. You know what I mean? You're not going to bother them.
True that.
Yeah, so you just
Yeah.
stand there in faith. Yeah. So all of this is about getting you aligned with allowance and being receptive, and then just staying in that space, staying oriented to love, unconditional love, and just trusting that as you as the translator and with all of the cooperative components, it is happening. Because then if we, like I say, if we go and we say, oh, what are you doing with that love that I channeled for you? That's none of your business. Then you become conditional.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and then that's how it is. We actually have to train ourselves to do less. That's funny. That's really how we become better healers. Thank you so much for that question. Now, we handled the second part of the topic.
Awesome. There you go. It. Look at that.
Well, thank you for calling again, Darius. I love hearing from you.
Thank you. I look forward to hearing the rest of the podcast.
Thank you so much, Darius. Have a great day. Okay, we do have another caller, so let's go ahead and take another caller, because apparently it's just going in tandem with the words of Uriel. Hi there, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hi, Trish. It's Lynette. How are you?
Oh, hi, Lynette. You're the Lynette that I don't want to say your last name unless you want to share it. Your last name starts with a C.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Lynette's in my group.
You're talking about my favorite thing, angels.
Oh, good. Yeah, I feel a lot of angel. Before you even said the word angel, I felt all kinds of warm, glowy, like just excited energy from your heart and all around you. You have a lot of fairy energy around you too, but they're like earth. Elemental angels, so that makes a lot of sense. What's on your mind today? I love that you.
Oh, it really does.
Yeah. What do you have a question or a thought? What do you want to talk about?
I do. Well, first thing, I love your group. I heard you. I talked at the same time as you. I'm sorry, I'll try not to do that, but I love your group. Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Oh, thank you.
So I learned so much from just being in that group.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yes. Well, my question was, and yes, I totally can relate to the fairies being around me. I have little fairy things in my garden, and you know how gardeny I am.
Oh.
So I had a question about, recently felt like Archangel Gabriel, and I wondered if you saw that as well.
Yeah, I can feel that, definitely. I'm feeling it right now. Because you are a speaker of truth. So everyone, Archangel Gabriel is really works with us about speaking our truth. And by the way, some people see Gabriel as male, and some people see Gabriel as Gabrielle, female. And I for me personally, I usually see Gabrielle as a female, but not always. Sometimes it's like Gabriel for me. But I feel, Lynette, that Gabriel, the masculine energy of Gabriel for you too. I do actually. I don't want to assume this, but yes, you definitely work with Gabriel very, very strongly. So. Yeah, you are a speaker of truth. You are a giver of truth. That throat chakra of yours is as highly functioning. You even have, like, your voice is beautiful. Like, literally, your voice is beautiful to hear it over the phone. You command.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, you command a lot of attention. You're very brave with the sharing of truth. I see that sometimes it's almost like claircognizance drops down into your voice, and you will be saying things and helping and giving truth, and you're like, well, who said that? I don't know. I didn't know that before. Is that true? You feel that sometimes?
Exactly. And sometimes I can't even help it. Sometimes my brain really fast thinks, I shouldn't even be saying this. It's none of my business, but I can't help it, literally.
Yeah, but you're making the choice. So just encouragement again to know that you're making the choice out of love. You're just staying in love, and then if you're just like, well, yeah, exactly. So you can just allow it, and if someone feels weird about it, that's okay. Again, we just stay unconditional. That's their business. It's their free will choice. If they did feel strange about it, and sometimes when we're going to hear something or even make a decision, if they say if it doesn't scare you a little bit, it's not even worth doing. So, bringing forth really concentrated, powerful truth, it's gonna rock the boat sometimes, and that's okay. That's a good thing.
Thank you for saying that. That's so true. And I always try to do it in the most loving way. You know me. I love everyone. I try to I really think it's for their best. So. Someone else told me, though, that Gabriel was for Gabriel. I didn't hear about Gabrielle. That's really interesting. Gabriella. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But someone told me it was to protect. I do some of the doula work. I do some Lamaze coaching, and someone told me that Gabriel was also not in charge. I don't have the right word for it. Of new mothers and babies, and I was going to start nannying my was expecting baby, and I thought, wow, that really comes in line. But the truth thing makes a lot more sense. But I wondered if it was a little bit of both, or have you heard anything?
Well, I think that they can help us with anything. I think I have heard that Gabriel helps with children. I mean, Ariel does as well, and Metatron helps with yes, and Metatron I think in the doula work as well, because I know Metatron actually helps to work with sensitive children, or like very intuitive children. And so, like, let me see. Gabriel actually means the strength of God. That's what the name actually means. So, yeah, I mean, Gabriel, I know that, and again, infinite how they can help us, and particularly if they are an angel, the archangel that you work very closely with, or from whom you descend in that lineage. So, but yeah, very much like for writers, speakers, spiritual teachers, singers, people who are delivering messages of some kind. That is always what people kind of like say that Gabriel is known for. I'm just saying, and then let's see. Also, if you're in some transitions about job and career choices, communicate something in the right way, in order to give a result, and see how that can actually help with doula work too, because you know the truth about what is safe and most efficient and healthy for everyone. You're the expert, so you need to communicate that truth in that situation. You see how you can kind of like use all of that, because that happens to be
absolutely.
Oh, actually, here I see. Yes, that's right. I'm looking at some notes about Gabriel. If you want to conceive, or you want protection during pregnancy or birth for yourself or someone else, this is what I'm reading about Gabriel. So there you go. Yeah, very much in that doula process.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you said that about the truth, though. Thank you so much. I wanted to confirm it with you, because I just feel, and here's another truth, I feel like you have a really strong connection to all the angels, and you're like the authority on angels. And so I thought I have to run this by Trish and see what she thinks.
Oh,
so thank you so much.
Well, we're all authorities on them, because they're right there. We're connected to them seamlessly.
Yeah.
So, but thank you. I appreciate that. That's a beautiful compliment. You work with angel energy very much. So, you can sit with Gabriel, and you can you can ask questions. You can ask 20 questions. How are you working with me right now? That kind of stuff. So you just
good.
Yeah. Think about like interviewing your Gabriel or one of your archangels, and then you can like seriously, you can automatic write.
That sounds so much like me.
You would be great.
Sounds so much like me, because I fire off questions to my guides. It's like, okay, I feel them saying, could we answer the one that you just asked us first before you shoot off another one?
That's awesome. So yeah, you can do that with angels as well. That's really cool. Well, let me know how the doula work goes.
Thank you, beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, you're beautiful. Thank you. Thanks for calling in today, Lynette.
Well, I love you. I'll give someone else a chance. But thank you so much. I love your show. I love you.
I love you too, Lynette. Thank you. Okay, well, let's keep rolling with some calls. We're having fun with archangels so far. All right, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hello, this is Donna.
Hi, Donna. How are you?
Hi, Tricia. I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm great. Are you one of my Lightworker Lab fellow members?
Yes,
okay.
I am.
Then I know who you are, too.
Yes, I am. Yes.
How are you doing? What's going on today?
Okay, well, I am, from my last call, this is kind of an update from my last call that I was on with you and Dr. Meal.
Yes, right. Deborah Meal. Yes, Dr. Deborah Meal. Right.
Yeah, okay. Yes, exactly. Okay, so my job changed at that point when I came back from vacation, remember?
Okay.
And then they totally changed my job around. Now I'm having to move, and I decided to move to the mountains.
Ooh.
And so totally different area, and now I have to get another job. Do you see any jobs in my near future.
I see that. It feels to me you're going to get settled in, and that's okay. That give yourself a little space is ideal, rather than getting yourself worked up and concerned and future fear-based. To go ahead and allow the luxury of a little bit of time and space. It doesn't seem like it's going to be that much time, particularly if you allow it. If you allow it, then it's going to start becoming a very functional, fertile void. So I don't like giving predictions because, first of all, it entirely depends on you. Like if you started right now, to just give you some context, if you started right now worrying and hustling and forcing your will, it would probably, it would be painful, it would be uncomfortable because you'd be hustling and you wouldn't be really centered in love and then attracting the right kind of opportunities and not finding them because you would be desperate. And it feels like if you did that, none of them would work out anyway. It's not even like you would get the wrong job. You would just be having a lot of no fun. And it could extend some of that time.
Yes.
And so finally you would be like, well, I give up. And then you would, you give up and you'd surrender and then you would be on track. So, be on track now is the message. Be on track with...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Be on track now. Celebrate the beautiful move to the mountains and... Ooh, this is good. This is real good. Okay. So talking about archangels, Archangel Uriel is a good one for you to connect with right now because she is the archangel who is like they always say like she's known for overseeing animals and nature. So she connects us with Gaia, with Mother Earth energy. And Gaia is actually this source of prosperity and abundance. So you can work with actually Gaia because Gaia is a being. The earth is a living being, a sentient being. And so Gaia is abundance. Gaia is prosperity. And so connecting with her so that you can be really attuned to that prosperity and abundance and also peace and allowance. I mean, just look at how nature just is. Nature is just becoming all the time and with just beauty and fragrance and cooperation and symbiosis. That's what you want to connect with, that energy, and then just sit in that space of knowing that I am attracting to me the exact right opportunity so that there is that symbiosis, because that's very important to you, I can feel. It's very important that there is an equal exchange of energy, and you understand that. You understand that very consciously and intellectually, that this is an energetic exchange. So I go to a job interview, this is me, it's like a date. I'm interviewing them as well, and you know that this has to be a really balanced and mutually beneficial exchange. So then get into that energy space, celebrate, even I have no idea, what if it's only 3 days of you being so dialed in and then the right opportunity knocks on the door? You have a better chance of that by at the beginning of the day connecting with that prosperous, perfect Gaia energy. And like I say, Archangel Uriel is really great to counsel in that area too, especially since you just moved to a beautiful natural space. So Uriel would be very excited to work with you in that way, because that is going to actually connect you to the right job opportunity. Does that help?
Perfect. I was just going to ask which archangel to work with.
Yeah. Good.
Perfect.
Ariel is actually
This is a...
Go ahead, sweetie. Sorry, we have a delay.
Oh. Okay. So what I was going to say is this is very, very scary for me, but at the same time, I just don't think I can stay here anymore. I can't find a place to live. And I have put my heart and soul into looking for one, but the mountains is where my kids are. Okay. So I believe this is where I need to be.
That's great. And actually, it feels like your children are older. They're adults. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, they are.
But still, at the same time, by the way, Ariel, she also oversees children. And I know they're adults, but it just kind of ties in there too. And being next to your children, that's just going to help you to, connect with that unconditional love and that feeling. So you haven't moved yet to the mountains? I thought that you had already. That's what you said at the beginning. I misunderstood. You haven't quite moved.
No, I am in the process of.
Okay. Yeah.
But I've kind of already decided that that's where I'm going to go. I lived up there for 14 years. So it's not a new place for me, but it'll be, I'm really excited to go there again.
That's great. Well, you know what? I'm about to talk about transformation and how to use things that, like I say, are contrasting feeling or even scary or negative feeling. Not that this is negative, but like you say, it's scary. It feels challenging. It feels big. So hang on. And I know that you're going to get a little more clarity on how to approach this. So keep listening, and I'm going to continue explaining it's actually the first part, but now it's the second part of the message from Uriel today. So,
okay.
Yeah, and touch base with me.
Thank you so much,
You're
Tricia.
welcome. Thank you for calling, Donna.
Okay, thanks.
So we're going to hold off on calls for a second. I have several, but stay on the line. We're going to get to some more because I just want to, like I say, I want to explain the transformation piece that Uriel actually brought through. So a part of this message is maybe if you're having that kind of life change, you want to either manifest or you're experiencing these different changes in your life. It could be something really small too, just day to day when something shows up and that's not I expected it to be. It feels like it's going to be, it's creating an easy, step in my day. But it's actually, you can just welcome any of that contrast as an opportunity to alchemize, because transformation is actually alchemy. I want you to understand that because, as a sensitive person, sometimes we think I've absorbed all kinds of toxic energy, or, I'm making changes in my life. I need to drop this stuff off. I need to cut something off of myself in order to make changes. But in actually what it is that when we're transforming, we're actually alchemizing what we are and what we have. It's okay sometimes if it's beneficial to us to say, I need to release this, I need to release that. It's okay. Sometimes seeing it from that perspective is okay if it's helpful. But I want you to know that an even higher understanding, a higher truth about that, because there's a lot of different layers of truth to everything. So a higher truth to that is that we actually are alchemizing, meaning I have this experience or this part of me, and I'm not like losing something. It's changing. It's like base metal being turned into gold. So let's say, just a simple physical example, I want to lose 10 pounds. I actually don't want to lose any part of my body. That language is actually, in a way, not that helpful because it's resistant and because it's rejecting. What is actually happening is the 10 pounds, if we identify it as that, we're alchemizing it. It's becoming base metal. It's turning into gold. We are just transmuting what we already have, and we're accepting it with gratitude. And we say, thank you for being here and for showing me how my life will be improved if I work through and with this that I'm, transmuting or transforming. And it actually becomes a message. It is a message to help you to grow and to help you become stronger. The 10 pounds tells me that I should go do my favorite exercise and really get back into that again and eat my favorite high vibrational, healthy, green foods and everything, you know what I mean? And those things make you feel wonderful when you reconnect to them. So that's actually the reason, that's the message that you are getting from the 10 pounds. You're getting these wonderful things, and it's actually transforming by alchemy. Rather than I need to lose it and I have to go into regimen and it's difficult, and you know what I mean? Like you feel the difference there? Because it's important. Uriel was saying it's important for us to recognize that every part of us, everything that we understand and is higher, is our higher self. So we talk about the higher self as though it's opposed to our physical self or something like that. But the physical self is the fragile, beautiful expression of the higher self. Our bodies, our voices, our understanding, that the knowledge that we can put down on paper or something like that or communicate to someone else, it isn't actually limited. It is one facet of expression of infinity. And so when we are bringing into our understanding and what seems like transformation, we are actually we're just combining and we're just transmuting. We're seeing all of those parts that are smaller and fragile by one view, and we're actually seeing how wonderful that they are, how powerful they are, and that they aren't small and fragile, that the whole package, the everything is beauty, is love and light. So to Donna's example, so like she said, it's a bit scary moving, but this is what we can do. So we recognize that there is some contrast, moving, having to change jobs. There's contrast, meaning the light contrast is our spin, our neutral way of looking at challenge or negativity. Donna's is actually challenge. But we're going to call it contrast, just contrast to soaring and having the abundant, prosperous job and the wonderful state of living, which she's already set, We're in the contrast state right now. So you recognize it, and you just observe that there's some contrasting experience or feelings. That's the first part. We just recognize it. And try to use the word, find a word that makes you feel better about it, that is more neutral, rather than challenge or negativity. Challenge, maybe you can see that as okay, because if you're running up a hill out of excitement, it's a challenge to do that, but then when you get to the other side, you're soaring and it feels wonderful because of how you got to use your body. You know what I mean? Like you warmed up to it. It feels much better than going down the hill cold. So that first part is observing the contrast. The second part is to do your best to stay neutral. And stay neutral about it. Try not to be emotionally overwhelmed or scared, because when you're doing that, again, like we said earlier with Darius, you're becoming conditional then. You've actually disconnected from source energy. It's almost like you've gone rogue, we are nature, and so we're working in cooperation with the ecosystem, which is the universe. But if we decide that we're doing it all on our own, we're afraid, and we don't see that we're actually flowing with this beautiful dance, and there's just ebb and flow, and everything, everyone, everybody, every element of existence wants, desires, needs, conspires for you to be prosperous, abundant, successful, happy, joyful, blissful. All of those things benefit the ecosystem. So if we can trust that the ecosystem is conspiring, the universe is conspiring for all of these things to work out, and all this is we are just a root that is coming up out of the ground, and there's a rock, and so we are just gently moving around it. But you know what happens when plants experience like a rock or like lack of moisture? What happens is the nutrients concentrate inside of that plant, and it becomes stronger and more beautiful and more fragrant. And so that's what is happening. It's an opportunity to double down and receive more of the source energy, more support from the all, more support from if it's your archangels, your angels, your guides, however you see it. But you could just see it as nature. You don't have to identify with these different things that I teach of it being angels or light beings. It's true from my perspective, but you can just think of it as nature. And you are that root that is coming up. And as you're receiving more nutrients from the sun and the soil and the bees or whoever is in cooperation with it, you're becoming more concentrated with nutrients and gifts. And you're just going to move around that rock, and you're going to be even more fragrant and beautiful and be able to give more. Because of all of the nutrients you've collected, you're going to be able to express more out to the world, out to the garden, So that's the second part, is to stay neutral and trust and know that this is a space of grace. And then you can just try with your own actual emotions to pivot a little bit. So we have some contrast. Okay, we observe it in a neutral space objectively. And then we can just try to pivot a little bit and become joyful. Find something that is joyful about either the situation or just about something else completely. We just want to start shifting our emotional state, because our emotional state is actually our frequency, and we'll start dialing up that frequency. In the contrast, then we're starting to attune better to the ecosystem. And then the next part is you just expect that an opportunity to alchemize is before you, and that's what you're doing. And then the third step is just miracles. And then just wonderful stuff happens. You are the most beautiful, fragrant, excited, exuberant flower. And the faster that, sometimes when you're just trying to do this, it's more challenging because it's uncomfortable. But if we can, while we're in that discomfort, try to pivot to expectation of something wonderful, then even if it takes us a little time, your brain and your body and your body, mind, and spirit starts to get more trained in that, and then it can happen like that. Every time it's like, for me, I think I told a story not too long ago where I was starving and we ordered some food and they brought the food that was absolutely wrong and I couldn't eat it. But I was like, oh, this is weird. Negative things don't happen to me. I was like surprised because I was so hungry and it was showing up wrong and I couldn't eat it. And I was like, okay. Well, it must not really be negative. It must not really be that big of a challenge. And it turned out that I got like a free dinner and a gift certificate because they messed up. You know what I mean? And I could eat something right now. There was actually a part of the dinner that I could eat that they accidentally delivered. So, you know what I mean? To be able to quickly get into that expectation that, this is just an opportunity to transform by alchemy. This that is before me, that is the contrast, is just that rock that is helping me to stay in the soil, to double down and receive more nutrients from the soil and the sun and all of the cooperative components so that I can become more beautiful, more exciting, and more able to benefit the ecosystem. How are you guys feeling that? I hope you're feeling it. We have just a few minutes left. Do you think we have time to take a call, Jarvis? Jarvis thinks so. Let's do it. Hi. Hi there. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hi, this is Chandra.
Chandra, beautiful name. How are you?
Yes. I'm good. I was calling today to see, I've been kind of pushed by a friend a little bit because I'm just like coming into everything or actually accepting things. And she keeps telling me that she thinks that my gifts are powerful or whatever. And like, I'm kind of apprehensive about it. And I was just curious as to where you see me going with that.
Okay. So you're just sort of opening up to your abilities is what you're saying?
Yeah.
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 Okay. Well, the first thing I feel it's good for you to understand is that there is no pressure. There's no expectation. This is just for you to have fun with. So just approach it from, this is your gifts. What is a gift? What is a gift on Christmas morning? When you receive a bike when you're 10 years old, is that mean, are your parents saying, now go ride 10 miles? It's a gift. It's for you to play with. It's for you to have fun with. That's what your abilities are too. So there's no pressure. You could say right now, if you wanted to, you could say, I don't care that I have these abilities. I don't want to use them. You're not going to be letting anyone down. It's a gift. So that's the first thing to know, is that you don't have to be worried or overwhelmed or apprehensive or anything like that, because it's a gift. It's a bicycle on Christmas morning. And oh boy, what do I get to do with this bicycle? You know? So that's one thing that's going to really help you to play with it if you want, and if you don't want to play with it, it's fine too. You can put it down. Nobody's going to get mad at you for it. It's not, and actually, the universe is a better parent than our parents are, just because, or we are as parents, I should say, as humans are, because the parents, if it stayed in the garage, would be like, what the hell with the bike? You know, there's nobody going to be, yelling at you because you aren't using your gifts or you aren't playing with your gifts in this case. So,
but there's that guilt that goes along with that. You know what I mean?
that is absolutely not necessary. Nope, not necessary. You could be an extremely powerful natural medium. You do not have to do that. You don't have to. It's only a gift. It's a true gift. It's an unconditional gift. Like I say, your parents in the real physical world would be a little conditional if you did ignore it. That's not the case. It's a true gift. It's just a precious gift that you are welcome to play with or not. And so that's the first way. I think you just need to be okay with it, not feel the expectation, because there isn't any expectations. It's all about you having fun with it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I know your friend isn't, I don't know what your friend is, I should say, I don't want to assume that I have any idea what your friend's intention is, but except that I do know that in her heart, she means only good, and she's excited for you.
She means good.
She's excited for you.
She means good.
Yeah. So take that pressure off yourself. It's not real. It's an illusion. Yes,
Okay.
the gifts that are available to you, it's a really awesome bicycle you have. I can feel that. It's very powerful, but you just play with it if you like to play with it. And then you'll get good at it when it's about play. Just think about how you get in really great shape when exercise is fun. This is the same thing. People have like dance classes and dancing because that's a fun way to exercise. That's the things that are fun are the things you're going to stick to. So,
well, I've been watching some of your guys' videos in the lab, and it's a place that I'm really glad that my friend added me, because it's like I feel like I belong.
Oh, wonderful!
So it's kind of
yeah, just keep hanging out there. But you're gonna there are the teachers, and then there are people who are coming up in their gifts. On Fridays we have every other Friday we have either a reader and healer, or we have a teacher who are in their development. And so just to be able to connect with all of the different stages of connecting with your gifts in joy and in play and in ease. So just keep hanging out there. There's no pressure. It's all about you having fun and celebrating.
Well, thank you very, very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Ashandra. And I hope to hear from you again and hope to see you in the lab soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for calling in.
Bye.
All right. Well, that's just about the end of our show today. Anyone who we didn't get to on the calls, just know that Spirit organizes the messages for us all in all space and time. And if you're listening in the archives on YouTube or on a podcast outlet, know that you contributed, and I appreciate it. You know that this happened live one day and you listened later, but the universe knew you were going to be listening, and so everything was organized in cooperation with you and with your questions and with your desires. And so I thank you for that. I thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Such a beautiful, wonderful experience to have this show. And you guys, seriously, I just want to take a moment to tell you, my dreams... When I come here, this is my dream coming true every single Sunday. Every single time I am in my group or in the Lightworkers Lab, every single time I'm here broadcasting, you guys are working with me. For me personally, I have everything that I want, and all of my dreams have come true. All of my wildest dreams have come true. That's a very distant reference to Napoleon Dynamite. If you haven't seen that film, you should watch it. It's hilarious. It's like over 10 years old now, so some of the young people may not have heard of it. Anyway, I think that's our show today then. Ask who your archangel is or what archangel wants to work with you. Read some books about it. It's a really amazing, transformative, and alchemizing experience to connect with the higher realms and with your own inner being, which is an expression of the higher realms of source energy. And so I will see you next week at 11 a.m. Pacific on ubnradio.com, channel 1, or on any of my social media outlets where this is also broadcast live. And hopefully you will call in and we will connect. And thank you so much for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.